Hello, my name is Alex Ducellier Muller. Welcome to my second week of dressage schooling exercises. This is episode 2. If you missed the first week, please go back and watch it at your convenience. It's on the YouTube channel Rider Life, and it's labeled Dressage Schooling Exercises Episode 1. For today's exercise, I am riding Fern. She is my own 6-year-old. Actually, she's a saddlebred Tennessee Walker Cross. And here, as I'm talking about my exercises and introducing Fern, you're watching me warm her up in a new arena. So a little comment about warm up. You can see here I like to really elasticize the horse's top line. So I do a lot of forward and back, lengthen and shorten, and then I introduce the lateral exercises. So I like to really ensure that the horse is swinging through their back in the warm up. Fern is showing second level, and for today I've chosen a pretty solidly second level exercise. I call it shoulder in on Teardrops. The purpose of this exercise is to improve engagement, collection, and elasticity in the trot. The way that it does this is it combines longitudinal suppleness with lateral suppleness. So as I describe the exercise, you'll see that combining the two by using lateral movements into and out of your lengthening, or in this case your medium, really helps the horse's engagement and quality of collection. Without further ado, we go into this week's exercise. This exercise is a mirror image, so one repetition of the exercise takes you both directions. So I will do a shoulder in, H to E. And as always, don't worry about the perfection of the movement. The point is to go from one piece of the exercise to the other. So there's a half 10-meter circle E to X, and then a medium trot X to H. At H, I'm going to press her into a haunches in and do a 10-meter circle right. So you can hold that haunches in the whole way around the circle, or because Fern is struggling with it a little bit, I held it for about half the circle. And then we'll come and repeat the same exercise the other way. So we do collected trot to the short end, and then M to B, shoulder in. B, half 10-meter circle right to X, and then X to M, medium trot. And at M, haunches in, and 10-meter circle. So again, I'm not holding the haunches in the whole way around the 10-meter circle, but you're welcome to. So the purpose of this exercise is to improve the engagement, the quality of the collection, and the elasticity in the trot. The byproduct is that it also really helps your down transition from medium trot back to collected trot. So by pressing the haunches in that moment of the transition, you're helping the horse engage the hind leg. So you're doing that by involving the lateral suppleness to aid in the longitudinal suppleness. So through this exercise, you can see that Fern does struggle with that transition a little bit. She's pretty freshly into second level. And don't be afraid of letting your horse struggle a little bit. Obviously, you have to pay attention to their mental state and not distress them, but she's not upset by it. You can see that there's a little bit loss of connection. Sometimes there's a little bit of stiffening, especially in the moment when I go from the medium to the haunches in on the circle. But it ends up really helping her. It's not super smooth. It's not show quality. I wouldn't want to go do that in the show ring at the moment, but it's helping her get a little bit loftier trot coming back to the collection. So I think here you can really see how her shoulders come up a bit, and she gets her hind end to come under using that haunches in. As always, this exercise can be scaffolded to be a little bit more difficult or a little bit easier. So if your horse doesn't do shoulder in and haunches in yet, just take them out. You could trot straight down this long side, and you can do a normal 10-meter circle at H instead of a haunches in on a 10-meter circle. If your horse kind of does shoulder in, do a little shoulder 4 down that long side. So training is always going to be just a little bit out of a horse's comfort zone. Yeah, you can see Fern really struggled there in that down transition because I'd pushed her just a hair more in the medium. So she did give me more of a medium there, but then she lost her balance coming back. So no worries, we're not going to get upset about that. That just happens with time and gets a little bit better every time you do it. So as I was saying, training doesn't happen in your comfort zone. So pushing your horse just a little bit out of the comfort zone as much as you can without distressing them tends to improve them every day. So what you can see here with Fern is the trot's getting more expressive. She's got a nice trot, but she's not a warm blood. Yeah, good. And you can hear me in the background there praising her because she's trying really hard. That's really difficult for her to sit after the medium. But what I'm liking about this is her trot's starting to get more swing, a little bit more true collection, meaning that she's bending the hind leg, lowering her hips, and carrying the energy through instead of shutting down and doing like a shorter trot. So I'm testing her just a little bit on the circle, putting my calf on and seeing if she'll bounce a little bit in the trot. And you can see she's giving me a pretty solid effort here. Yeah, and that was a bit smoother than the last time. So you hear me praise her and tell her she's a good girl there. So I'm pushing her just a little bit out of her comfort zone. I'm making it just a little bit difficult for her. I'm always paying attention. There, and then I just decided to mix it up because she gets a little bit stuck in a rut. So I just added a halt rein back, not because I felt like she needed a halt rein back, but I just wanted to see if she was paying attention. So not all horses do really well repeating an exercise over and over. So obviously I'm doing that for the sake of this video, but I wouldn't necessarily in my schooling stick to this same exercise for this long. I would definitely do 1 or 2 repetitions. I like that transition back quite a bit watching it, and obviously you can hear me praising her, so I liked it when I wrote it as well. But in my schooling, I will do an exercise for 1 or 2 repetitions, go play with something else, and then come back. So it's something that I add in rather than something that I drill over and over. And so when I feel like I've accomplished something, which I have there because I really like the transition back, I'm going to reward her with a little stretch. I can't stress enough how important stretching is. It's not just a confirmation that your horse is working through its back, but it's a chance for your horse to get a little break from holding their body. After Fern has a break, I'll pick her up and do a medium across the full diagonal just to test how effective this exercise was for her in opening up her stride and improving the elasticity of her longitudinal connection. If you are enjoying these exercises, please do subscribe on YouTube and like and comment on the video. So here's our last medium. So it is a bit more open. Obviously, she has a ways to go, but there's quite a bit of improvement, I think, there with the reach through her shoulder, and I quite liked the transition back, so I would say that was successful. So I finished with the transition to walk, and as always, put the walk a little bit together before I praise. So that's it for this week. Thanks so much, guys.